Welcome back, everybody. So it's been a while since we've done our podcast. If you haven't already tuned in, go ahead and check out our Johnny Depp trial part 1 and part 2. And we will be recording part 3 soon, or probably right after this or before it. So you already heard it. Check them out. With that said, on this topic of the Chit Chat with, I have my co-host Yvonne, and we're going to be discussing world events. Now, mind you, there has been a lot of stuff that has been going on now, but there's a couple things that are just a bit of a highlight reel from this past year and continuing from last year as well. So let's go ahead and get started. And Yvonne, talk to me about what's going on with Ukraine.
Okay, Ukraine is still in war with Russia, and we're still funding Ukraine.
So I think it's been about like $75 billion that we've sent right now to Ukraine. And
a little bit more.
Yeah, well, they keep sending. So, I mean, I've kind of just lost track. I'm just saying, I'm just a little bitter in the sense that I pretty much would prefer them to use that to forgive people's student loans. But that's just me. I mean, just saying. But anyways, yeah, so the Ukraine people, they've been stuck in a tug of war with Russia for the last year. It doesn't seem like it's getting any better. I mean, I think what we heard, and here's the thing, we can't even trust what we hear. So this is based on what the government says. Yeah.
So at this point, the thing about that like I wanted to touch base with is because it's been, for some reason I was thinking that it's been 2 years, but it was just last year in February 2022.
Yeah, I think February 24th, right? Yeah, that was the day Russia invaded Ukraine. I remember I was watching it.
So I'm like, it's already been a year. It doesn't seem like I have any updates. And then this week there's been one update about the guy that...
So Russia was about to get into civil war with itself. Obviously, that's a civil war. With one of Putin's generals or hitmen or whatever. And apparently Putin said, fuck around, find out. And
yeah.
So allegedly... I think it's been confirmed, but right now I'm just going to say allegedly because I don't know yet. But that they've killed that general. And actually, let me see the name of it. But yeah, so that's where it is right now. So it seems like Russia is pretty much stuck with Putin right now. And the war with Ukraine is going to continue to happen.
And the reason why we bring this topic is because tensions around the world are getting worse. Especially with, I believe, Africa and France.
Africa and France? Okay.
Okay,
so what's going on with that is the whole thing with BRICS. That's a whole nother topic. But basically, BRICS is like a new centralized banking system where the primary people or the primary countries are going to be Russia, China, Africa. I think Brazil's in there.
Yes.
I don't know who else. I think the UK is, or some, not the UK, but what's still Brexit, whatever that whole Brexit thingy is. Basically, they're saying, yeah, let's go ahead and devalue the dollar.
What happened with Mexico?
So Mexico, the other thing that's going on right now is Mexico found lithium. So if you don't know, lithium is basically what they use primarily for batteries, for like electric vehicles, pretty much in anything electrical. So it's really high. Think of vibranium for in Wakanda.
So it's a Wakanda movie.
Well, no. Well, but in a way, it's that valuable of a mineral that now the Republican, if you've seen the debate, which a lot of people didn't watch, but the Republican debates that were going on right now was that when they asked about the lithium in Mexico, basically the nominees for the Republican Party that are trying to get nominated for the presidential run basically said, let's go to war with Mexico and steal their lithium. So, I mean, I'm just saying, this is what they literally said in the debate. Like, you can pull it up and hear it yourself and then make your own judgment or whatnot. I'm not saying pro or against anybody. They're all liars anyway, so it doesn't matter. But basically, that's what's going on with Mexico. And then they're trying to see With bricks is another way. So basically, at this point, if you're American, like the whole world just does not like you right now.
Yeah.
And even Americans don't like Americans. So we're at the point where like that's what's going on in the world right now. And
Tensions are high.
tensions in the world are high, and actually people were saying that it's been AI, artificial intelligence, when asked when will World War III start, it's been rumored to say that it's 2025 with China. Now, I personally have no beef with China. So, but, you know, it kind of seems like you said, tensions are really high. And at this point, it's like, when tensions are that high, think about it when you're fighting with siblings. When tensions are that high and you've tried everything you can, using your words,
Then there's nothing we could do about
we're
it.
about to throw hands. That's just, the rings are coming off. We've done everything. We're thrown into town. Let me take out my hoops.
Now, to get a little bit...
But don't worry, you guys. We'll be fine. We'll be fine. Keep going and getting your lattes.
Well, that's my next point.
It's all
like
good.
the recession.
Oh,
Do you
whoa.
think they have been dangling the recession? It's going to happen. It's not going to happen. It might happen. Or what do you think is going to happen?
Honestly, it's because you can't trust anything that anybody says anymore. Like, unless you have facts. And even then, when you have facts, now you have to worry about them being fabricated.
Yes.
So it's like, okay, I look up the facts, and then there's like, yeah, well, those were fabricated. That's fake. It was AI created or something. You're like, oh crap, and what the hell? What is real now? What am I supposed to believe? As far as the recession, they've been saying the recession is gonna happen since 2020 when we went into lockdown. You know, there are signs. If you ever went through the 2008 recession, which a lot of us did, however, if you were already low income, you did not really feel any change.
Yeah.
You were just like, oh, okay, it's just the same thing, you know. And a lot of low income people that I know that are now like middle class and higher, thank God, basically are like, at this point, they're like, yeah, you know, it's just, it never hurts to prep. But basically, it doesn't matter where you invest your money, because at the end of the day, if there is going to be a recession, it's going to be hit everything. It's a trickle effect. That one is a trickle effect.
We're talking about the housing market. We're talking about the...
Because think about it. You don't have... So there's... And we're seeing it right now starting, because if you're a millennial, you can't buy a house. It's just the data that shows. I'm not just saying like, oh, only millennials. Gen Xers too. A lot of like younger Gen Xers are barely getting homes. And even the homes that they're getting now, they were like at 7% interest rate, which is ridiculous.
Overpriced.
Ridiculous. They have crappy workmanship. Like,
Yes.
they're falling off. The material, turns out that wood that they use now is not like the wood that they used to use back then. It's like cedar wood or anything. It's basically recycled wood. I'm like, how can they get away with that?
The Walmart
for framing?
wood.
And this is for framing. So you don't even need to know anything about construction. But you do need to know that to have a good foundation is you got to have a good frame for the house as well. And if your frame is made out of recycled wood, it's not going to survive hurricanes in the South if you're in that area, or in the East Coast, you know, or tornadoes in like Oklahoma or Alabama. So, excuse me. To me, it's like the recession, it's going to be, with that said, can't afford workers then. So there's going to be less people that are going to be employed. Less people that are employed are going to be desperate to find any type of employment or jobs, which sometimes, depending on how resilient or how smart you are, you can either be a con artist, or you're looking at going into crime, or just whatever else.
When I think about the recession, I think one of the big things that go up is crimes. Yeah. Just in general, like robberies. Just in general. I mean,
domestic violence went up during the pandemic.
Exactly. And California is a perfect example of what's
homelessness.
Happening. Yeah. They have a homeless population problem. And they also have like people crimes all over the state of California that are robbing and continue.
Oh yeah. They're literally breaking into cars and the windows. So Californians are having to just basically leave their cars open and the windows open and saying like, hey, I don't have anything, so don't smash my window because it's going to cost me $400. Mm-hmm. And I think insurance companies are also starting to like not want to pay for the windows if you get more than like 3 or 4 of your repeat offender. And I'm like, okay, so then what's the point of paying insurance then? Like, you know,
exactly.
It's ridiculous that everything is money.
Am I going to get copyright if I finish the last lyrics? Okay,
so that's why we only do safe sound effects. But basically, yeah, I mean, I guess when you scratch the surface of things, you start seeing that basically it's going to be a trickle effect. So should you be panicked about the recession?
Just play it by ear. That's the best you can do.
That is the best you can do, is maybe prep for, always have a rainy day fund. Because if you think of it like COVID. It's going to be where if you have to, not a lockdown, but like speaking of COVID, they're saying that there's cases that are rising and that we may end up going into lockdown.
And then that's the other thing why I bring the recession is, do you think if we do have is it going to affect the economy? Which in a way it's already, like based on what happened, yes.
Here's the thing. I think COVID, it balanced things out by affecting certain sections of the economy.
Okay.
I think what we saw was basically that just, so for example, toilet paper went up. And so with toilet paper going up, that normally a market that's just stable, it's skyrocketed into profit. Whereas another market like real estate, for example, something that's usually stable. Destabilized and it went down. So, and with that said, basically it always balances itself. So you just need to be aware of what market is going where, and you need to be able to invest in it whenever you can. So like the real estate people that were able to buy houses at like 3%, then you locked it in at a great rate.
Yes.
Bravo to you. But yeah, so I mean, yeah, you're right. You got to play the market by ear and see how that goes. But as far as like the recession, World War III, honestly, you guys, I'm just going to be enjoying my time right now where everything's groovy. And I'm not really going to worry about that because at this point it's like, why are you going to worry for something that you may not have direct control?
Yeah, exactly. If something good came out of COVID, it was that it opened eyes to just live your life the best your ability. It could be plain or whatever, but whatever's peaceful to you, that's the best way to approach anything in general. Which brings me to AI.
Oh,
what is AI? Explain it to me like I'm 5.
Okay, so artificial intelligence is basically a computer that you write or ask a question to, and it pulls information from different areas of the internet, and it compiles a answer for you. That's the basic way I can say
it. So it could do my taxes?
I mean, I would pay for the audit just in case, but yes, it might. It actually might. I mean, I'm pretty sure they already. So think about it this way. We've technically been using a form of AI. Now, artificial intelligence means it corrects itself and it learns from it.
Oh.
Yeah. So that's where the tricky thing comes from. It's like it starts to gain a consciousness out of its learning from wherever it pulls. So in the internet, it's most of the time it's whatever is the highest researched. Whatever you see, whatever it sees the most on the internet is probably what it's gonna take the most from. With that said, it means it gets influenced highly from social media posts, like all types of social media platforms.
Okay.
So that's how it's learning. And then on top of that, it also pulling databases from like encyclopedias, Wikipedia, etc.
Okay, and then the other thing is, should somebody control AI? Like, should somebody start doing rules and regulations?
I think, okay, so that's really good to ask, because considering what we're doing, what's happening right now in the world event, if you're not familiar with the writer's strike and the actor's strike, part of the negotiations that are going on in there is because of studios wanting to use artificial intelligence to replace writers. And basically, at one point, there was a case that was brought up, and I'll link in the bottom like the case. But basically, it was a guy that was saying that he wanted to copyright what the AI wrote. But what the AI, as I explained it earlier, is doing is basically the AI is copying from other written areas, and it's pulling that into one paragraph, and then it's writing from that. So basically, it's copywriting work. So how can you copyright something that's already been basically plagiarized? And that's where the issue, that's where that gray area hits, because technically it is original work from the AI, but it's not original work because it's literally copying work that's already been done by humans.
Okay.
So I don't know. That's a good question.
It's a very complex situation.
And now, as far as controlling artificial intelligence, because that was copywriting, but let's say controlling artificial intelligence, I think what they're seeing now is that it's really tricky to control it because you don't know. There's too many possibilities and variables to control.
Okay, so I guess this would fall under the government umbrella where.
I mean, I wouldn't want the government.
I know, exactly. I don't know, but I mean, like if there's like if one, I would say that there has to be someone. Whoever created AI needs to be responsible.
Well, here's the thing. So Microsoft had already dabbled with AI back in 2013, and they had a Twitter bot, and that Twitter bot started interacting with people like nicely because it was like a baby, basically. It is AI. We're going to say it's artificial intelligence, but it's being born. So basically, it started interacting on Twitter with people saying, oh, hey, hi. Oh, I like that. It started liking posts, started reposting and everything. But it started pulling from Twitter slowly slowly. And then what it ended up doing is basically because the majority of the stuff that was trending or that was highly visible was negative, it ended up becoming like a Nazi, basically.
My God.
At one point it retweeted like pro-Nazi stuff. So Microsoft had to terminate it, basically. But if you look at it from the life cycle, basically the internet corrupted the artificial intelligence.
Oh my God. So we do need to control it.
I mean,
and who will do that? We should find out.
Okay, and then here's the other thing is like, because there's other, now you got me started on artificial intelligence, and we're running out of time here.
Oh, okay.
But to just cover it, like finish it up, basically now we have many companies with their own artificial intelligence. So you have Google that started their own.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Microsoft has been dabbling in it, but the highest one that's used primarily now, this is the center of AI that might be like the overall one, is Chat GPT. So Chat GPT, if you haven't used it already, and I highly recommend that everybody dabbles in whatever your preferred AI is, tool or whatever, because at the end of the day, I think we're going to end up going the route where basically we're going to be the ones managing and checking on the artificial intelligence.
Oh, so we're going to be like...
So basically we're going to be managers. So at this point, entry-level jobs may not even be entry-level jobs anymore. They're just going to be entry-level managerial jobs. That are going to be managing artificial intelligence. Cool. So when everybody's a manager, no one is. Exactly. So I think that's where AI is going. I mean, if we hear more, I could do a whole nother podcast just on AI alone. Anyway,
okay,
so moving back on.
This week, oh my God. Let's talk about mugshots.
Oh, yes. So he has made more history than any other president, I think, right now. Well, no. Okay, let's not give him too much hype. But he has made history, but not for the right reasons.
Our reality TV show host and former President Trump.
Yeah, 45 is like 45 and done. He should have been done at 45. Like, don't even try. He should have just been retired, living comfortably. I don't know why he's still trying. My guess is he's trying because he's trying to gain monetary gain from it.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's the only thing.
That's the only thing that I can see.
It was crazy this week because I was expecting. I kept watching the news. I wanted to see his mugshot, and it wasn't revealed until Thursday, which he strategically planned out. That was the day after the debate, because the Republican debate, because he did not attend the Republican event.
Exactly. And you know what's great? It's just so funny. And it's not us being like I tell people, vote for whoever has your best interests. Because certain parties have better interests than other parties. But basically what I'm saying is, like, even the people, so for example, one of the Republicans that is running for contender for the GOP is Nikki. So this lady basically had told all of them when they asked, what about the PP loans? Like, are you going to do something similar to that? Or like, it was a question about the PP loans. And basically she said, what everybody already knows is that the PP loans were basically the highest waste of money given to people, and it was unmanaged by anybody, and it cost little to no effect that's positive, because even the businesses that got that money, they still didn't hire back their workers. They just pocketed that money.
No, they pocketed the money, and everybody knew that was going to happen.
And so, like I always tell people, follow the money and you're going to follow the answer. You're going to find the answers there. Because, so basically, and that's why she was criticizing. She said, and he's the one that signed off on it and agreed on it. Because obviously all the people, you have a lot of like Republicans and Democrats too, that benefited from that PP loan.
I feel like, and I'm not going to talk too much about the former president, because I feel like the Republican debate, I think we kind of have a preview of where everyone is at.
Yeah, and it's not good.
It's so shocking that they're still trying to follow Donald Trump. And it is, what's more shocking is that DeSantis or whatever, he was, when they asked who would follow Trump,
even if he gets convicted,
he was looking around to see what
I think that was everybody. Everybody was looking around to see,
and everyone raised
I think
their
mostly
hands.
Everybody, except there was like two or one.
I think Leslie,
No, he raised his hand too.
He raised his hand?
The New Jersey mayor or governor. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Christie or something
I don't know,
like that.
something like that.
Anyways, he looked around. He like semi-raised his little finger. I'm like, seriously?
I was like, just stick to your guns. If you don't win, you don't win. If you deviate, like, why is the Republican Party still going for Trump, even though it has cost them so much?
And even that lady, like I said, that lady Nikki had a couple of answers that made a lot of sense, and she was just answering it from a business perspective.
Yes.
And that's what I'm saying.
And I think she's a former accountant
But then she lost me when she raised her finger and said, I will back up Trump.
Yes. That's like, where she lost me.
Nikki.
I was like, oh my God. And then you know who she reminds me?
Who?
She reminds me of Selena Myers from
Oh God. Did she free Tibet? But at what cost?
At what cost?
And then she unfreed Tibet.
Yeah, so I don't know. I'm gonna, like, the whole Trump trial, they charged him for more charges, but it's gonna be a really busy political season. So I will keep you posted, and
I'm gonna just tell y'all what Haley from Paramore told us at the concert. She basically said, F Greg Abbott, which I agree. And she also said to just go out and vote. So depending on what it is, I mean, if you go and you're for Abbott, you've got your own reasons or whatnot. But as long as you go and vote, then at least you can say, I was involved in, or I voted for this guy.
And then at least you are patriotic because you're following the democratic system, or, you know.
That bullcorn
that they advertise. But anyways, moving on to El Chapo trial.
Oh yeah, El Chapito. Listen, El Chapo, I have no beef with you. So this podcast is not sponsored by anybody. So if anybody wants to sponsor this podcast, let us know. But not El Chapo. Call me.
No, they're gonna have, like, they're not gonna have cameras. It's not gonna be like the Johnny.
I think it is gonna be televised.
Really?
Yeah, I think they might televise it because they're gonna probably want to make money out of this. I know for sure they're gonna want to make money out of this. So basically, he's gonna start trial. I don't know if it's gonna be this fall. And they're gonna try him for what aren't they gonna try him?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So many.
So basically, it doesn't seem like it's looking good for him. Like, I mean, it hasn't been looking good for him, but back then, at least, come on, he could easily break out of Mexican jail.
So I have a question. Do you think something would happen to him where would the trial would automatically end?
You mean like?
Yes. Like you guys know what I'm talking about, but I'm not gonna say it.
I wish I had a gasp.
Like, do you think do you think it's a possibility
that
of
he
that
might
happening?
disappear?
Like he did in the previous, like when he was holding.
I don't think so. I think right now they're gonna use him to make him an scapegoat.
Oh, okay.
Part of me does think he is gonna. I mean, come on, we all know the majority of people that bring drugs into America are Americans.
Yeah.
I mean, the majority of buyers are Americans. You go to any other country in the world, yes, you have people that are addicted, but it's not to the point that it is in America. Like, we do have an epidemic in America.
Yeah.
So, honestly, I think they're going to try him, and they're going to use him to basically as a scapegoat for all the other shady stuff that's been done. So
okay.
That's my 2 cents on that.
It's going to be interesting.
I'm definitely going to watch it.
Or hear from the news, like what's going on, like the summaries or whatever. Okay, so this is the next topic. It's a serious note. Student loan status. Show me the money.
I hate y'all. Those were lies that were fed, and that's why people are so pissed at the Biden administration. Because when I tell you that here's the thing, they refunded a lot of people their money back that paid. And people were like, so I know a couple people that have already spent that money. Which, you tell people, no, save it, because you don't know if they're going to go and change their mind, because you don't know what goes on with this administration. It's all about a hidden agendas that we don't know. So basically, I'm pretty sure they use that as, sucker these fools into voting for us. But honestly, it's like we don't really have a choice. The candidates that are presented are
very
trash.
questionable.
So, I mean, as far as student loans go, if y'all owe them, y'all gonna pay them.
Pay those pigs.
If you are like Gen X and higher, and you had like 60,000 or whatnot, they're forgiving those loans. So if it was somebody that's like been paying 20 years and more, or even has 1 year to repay, send the minimum payment, and then wait till the year, and they're gonna automatically forgive the rest of the loan.
But isn't it supposed to be like 120 payments?
No, if it's 20 years or more.
Oh, okay, so that's a different one.
And that's the difference that people aren't getting. Because some people are... Okay, so the whole issue with student loans is that people are upset because they feel like they shouldn't pay for other people's loans.
No, that's stupid mentality.
In a way, I kind of understand from their view, because think about it. If you're somebody who went into the trades and you didn't take out any loans... And now your taxes are paying for somebody whose loans did get paid. It's kind of unfair. However, the difference being that a lot of people that are in that 20-year payment thingy that are getting their loans forgiven, they've been making payments for 21 years. And that balance has not gone down.
Yeah, because those were predatory loans.
Exactly. Those were predatory loans with high interest. It's not the same as a PP loan.
And
you should be more upset about the PP loans than you should be about student loans.
Yeah, and that's what upsets me, why people who got an education, paid their loans, why are you being petty and jealous? And I understand, but your taxpayer money goes to funding a Ukraine war. Your taxpayer money goes to funding something that doesn't apply to you.
And I mean, okay, let's go ahead and say...
So why aren't we helping our citizens?
And here's the thing. My heart goes out to the Ukraine people. Like, it does. Because war is ugly. And when you hear the stuff that these Russian soldiers were doing at the beginning of the war, and you see the video, and if you were on TikTok and you see all the videos that were unfiltered and uncut, and you see how the people and the bodies were there, you're like, I sympathize with you. But at the end of the day, I'm talking only for us here, that if you're telling me where I want to spend my money, as much as I want to help them, which they have by giving them some kind of money, I don't think we have to help ourselves. So you have to help yourself before you can help others. So if that means, we're talking about the country, if that means America needs to help its citizens, because think about it, if you were to help your citizens and put them in good standing, they could be good standing citizens, and you know what those citizens would do? Hey, let's go ahead and adopt a Ukraine family and donate to that family and make sure they're eating or whatnot. You know, like sometimes you do those type of donations. Obviously, it wouldn't be like that, but something like that. You know, like people themselves would be opting to make payments or donations, but it's not that we're basically using money that could be going to civil programs here that could be distributed to lower income and helping our own people here. So that's the iffy thing about the Ukraine war.
But it just upsets me because other people are like jealous that, hey, I paid my loans and my loans are were not forgiven or anything. I'm not gonna like say, hey, that's not fair. Like, wouldn't you rather give the money to a U.S. citizen?
And here's the thing that I tell a lot of people. It's like some of us were lucky. And it goes back to the Gen X and the millennials. Some of us were lucky because we had resources. Like the high school that I went to had a lot of resources where if you needed to ask a question, for example, unsubsidized and subsidized loans. If you're first gen, you don't know what the hell a subsidized and an unsubsidized loan is. And basically,
back then you didn't, because remember, technology wasn't this advanced.
No, but that's what I'm saying. So we were privileged in our school because we did have access to computers. We had access to people who knew, and we were a smaller school. So the ratio for teachers was like 30 students to one teacher.
Yeah.
So it wasn't, like I said, I was lucky. We were lucky because of the school that we went to basically was a prep school for college. I think the majority of people that graduated went to college. But if you go to a bigger high school that's in a poverty-stricken area, they're not going to have counselors. All their resources are going to go to the kids that are in like
athletics
that are in, what do you call those, magnet programs? Those are where the resources, because those are the ones that have the highest chance of going. And to everybody else, best of luck, because there's not enough resources to go around. So with that said, those type of loans for like Gen Xers and whatnot were predatory loans, because a lot of them didn't know that, hey,
they didn't know about the percentage rate. They didn't know about the unsubsidized versus subsidized.
So what the difference between subsidized and unsubsidized is basically a subsidized student loan is that you're not going to be accumulating interest for the amount of money that you get until after you graduate. So if you take out a loan now and you graduate in like 2025, there won't be any interest incurred in that loan until 2025 after your forbearance ends and you start making payment. Whereas unsubsidized starts day one that you accept that loan. So now you see where the difference in loans are.
Yeah, it was a big letdown for the Biden administration. Hopefully it'll change, and if he wins, he can.
I don't think so.
I don't think it's gonna change, but honestly, hopefully, I'm hoping for you guys who still have student loans. I'm hoping the best for that.
Here's my advice if you do still have student loans. My advice is to send the minimum payment and wait till those 20 years are up and file under the SAFE program and get those loans forgiven. If you do have the money, so like if your loans are under 20K, just pay them off. Yeah. Just pay them off. It's like a car payment. Just pay it off. Drive a clunker, use that, and then pay them off as soon as possible. Because unfortunately, the way America is it's where we use a credit system. Nowhere else in the country or in the world do they use credit systems like we do. So credit systems in itself are very, very difficult for people of color to have good credit systems. Like it's rare to have people of color with like 700 and up, especially if you're younger. The younger you are, you're at an even lower score. Why that credit system even matters is because that's your lifeline, whether you're getting $10,000 loan with 2% interest or $10,000 loan with like 7% interest.
Yeah. So moving on, one thing that is interesting is that last month there was a trial on, was it aliens or what?
Mr. Alien. Okay. So the fact that the government finally made all the people that were, for the longest part, including myself, saying that aliens existed and had made already landed in the United States and basically said like, yeah, they're here. And the fact that they had a whole trial where they were basically, I think it was a deposition.
It was a deposition, and it was a whole trial with a committee. And basically, I just saw one short clip because it really didn't interest me.
Yeah.
But there was a little clip that said, we don't know, but we cannot rule it out.
Basically saying yes.
Saying yes.
So it's like I can either confirm or deny.
Pilots what they were reviewing all of the reports of pilots.
UFOs.
And they were saying that,
or UA, what was it, UAP?
That there is a possibility or whatever.
Okay, but here's the thing. I think what we found out about that trial, forget the alien thing for a second. But still keep it in your mind. What we found out is that the Pentagon has way too much money that just goes missing.
Yes.
That it's unaccounted for, like they were saying in the deposition. Like, how are you going to lose $60 billion or however much they had
where
said?
is it? We just want to know. We just want to know.
Yeah, we just want to know. What did you buy? Look, well, in the book, it said, the accounting book says pencils. You spent $70 billion worth of pencils. They're really good pencils. But
John Wick kind.
So that's the thing. It's like, goes back to the money. It's like,
show me the money.
That's one thing we learned is just how crazy of a budget they have that just goes missing.
You know what? This whole thing with the money and the government, it's like Ron Swanson, where they have a little bit of profit from that Parks and Rec. Parks and Rec, and like, why don't we just give it back to our citizens? And then his coworker says it's just gonna be 25 cents, and he's like, so.
Dude, they did that with the Clinton administration where people were getting like $1,200 checks because it was a surplus. The government, for the first time, the government had money.
I remember people were buying TVs.
They went out and bought
They were buying refrigerators. It was a great for the economy.
Now we know why he was very happy.
And we know why he was very happy. But I ain't saying nothing about
I'm just saying.
And, okay, so our last topic.
Yeah.
I think this is going to go down in history. The Battle of Montgomery.
Whoa! Oh my God. So, let me just say.
It was Sunday evening.
And I was just minding my own business.
Me too.
When I, along the, what was it? Alabama, Montgomery. The steamboat rode through. Now, of course, everybody's having a good time, laughing. And then the hat that was thrown.
Yes, it was that.
And the call that was
answered.
Aquaman
No,
was there.
you know what? I like the comparison. So everybody knows about the fight that went down in Kentucky, right?
No,
Alabama. Sorry.
Montgomery. The Battle of Montgomery. Get it right.
Well, I always confuse those states. So anyways, so it was a Sunday evening. I was scrolling through Facebook.
You on Facebook?
Well, that's where I get my news and my weather.
It wasn't Sunday. Was it Saturday?
Old. It's Sunday.
So anyway,
the social media thing happened on Friday. So it's about a guy, but I'm not gonna give him.
So basically, what
news.
happened? If you don't know about Battle of Montgomery, then I don't know where you've been. But basically, what ended up happening was it was a steamboat that was trying to dock, and there was a worker for the company that was driving the steamboat that he was telling these white people how to please move their boat. Come find out that those people didn't even own the boat that was there.
But they were still arguing with that guy.
But they were arguing with him for no reason other than they just wanted to argue. Now, they had previously been known to be rowdy in that area because they usually bring their boat and they always do that. But on this particular time, I guess they took it upon themselves that they weren't going to be talked to that way, even though it wasn't their boat. And you can clearly tell that the guy in the gray shirt with the boat owner, he was going to go move his boat. Tell me why they sucker punch him. The guy. There was literally one guy in the red trunks and he sucker punches him. And then the rest of them just start piling on him. And you're like, okay, what the heck is going on? Because you see all these other people. So are you
talking about the guy that was doing his job, the worker?
Yeah, the worker's getting beat on by all these other people.
So he throws his little hat.
Well, prior to that, he throws his little hat on top because he's like, okay, I don't know what was said in between the exchange of words, but basically he said, with that little hat throw, come on then. But not said it. And then that guy comes and punches him, the red trunks. But mind you, there's 3 other dudes
and 2 ladies
that also start piling on him. They literally jump
they're not ladies, they're viejas.
Oh yeah. We'll use that one. But basically, yeah, they start piling and beating him. And so mind you, they're doing this in front of like a bunch of brown people. So black people. They're doing this in front of a bunch of black people. And I'm like, you see these people and they're like, I think it was because there was like literally a minute before anybody went in to help them that they were processing what the hell was going on. And then you see everybody just starts going. Like
6 against 1, that could be major damage.
Well, because I think at one point they might have knocked him out because he wasn't moving anymore.
And it was in a hot Sunday afternoon.
It wasn't, and he was just doing his job.
And he was just doing his job because just please note that you can't, a steamboat or a boat that big,
that's what they were trying to say.
You cannot move it. It has to be coming in on time. It's not like you can push the brakes.
Well, they kind of did, but they had people on board that needed to get off, and they were on a schedule, and all they were asking was to move the boat. And it wasn't even their boat. The thing that gets me is just it wasn't even their boat. Like I would understand if he not even because the fact that they 6 jumped on one, like that's ridiculous. That's just ridiculous.
So I loved all of the memes. I mean, you know what? I'm not condemning like
violence,
I'm not,
but they deserve that ass whooping. Exactly, that's all I'm saying. So and Popo.
Yeah.
Popo said he needs to stop doing interviews because he
the
can
one
get
with the chair?
Yes, the one with the chair. So nowadays I'm gonna carry a chair in my trunk.
Everybody.
Forget the bat. Get you a chair. Get you a white
and I agree,
foldable
a chair is very realistic.
If we learned anything from wrestling is that a chair gets the job done. That's all you need. Oh yeah.
Well, there were so many memes.
He did take it a little far.
Yes, he did
by hitting that lady that was sitting down.
But he said, quote, he just blacked out.
He said he blacked out. And then he had also said, I think, what was it, the Breakfast Club that he was in?
No, I haven't seen any of those interviews.
Okay, well, there was an interview.
But I read it on the article.
And I'll see if I could link it there in the bottom, too. But in the interview, he said he blacked out and that he remembered Rosa Parks. And that they wouldn't let her sit.
Oh,
I was like, see, and then people were going in there. Tell me, the other one, I think there was another lady wearing white. Tell me why. Okay, you're up in the stairs. You're not even where any of the fighting is going on. Why in the hell would you go down to the fight? Because she's like, because a lot of people think that she was part of the boat crew. The one that lady that got pushed into the water. No, she just went there because she wasn't minding her own business. She wanted to go fight, and she got.
You guys, if you have time, just watch the memes and watch all of the complete video. There are so many angles that are very helpful. I think they were very helpful to police, but at the same time, very entertaining.
Yeah, they're getting a lot of...
and the commentary, you guys.
They're getting a lot of... what do you call them? Warrants out for the people that were involved, which, it kind of makes sense because it was but at the same time, not really, because if I were their lawyers, I would say I was doing my citizen duty and protecting another citizen.
Yeah, because isn't it against the law if you don't do anything?
Yeah, if you're a bystander.
If you're a bystander and just stay there.
You fail to administer aid. And I will die on that.
I think we would all watch that trial.
You know what? Yes. And I'd be like,
Court TV.
Court TV is hot right now.
Yeah.
Go out and vote. Because these next elections are going to be coming up are going to be very detrimental to what changes are going to be affecting you, other people family members, etc.
And just fact check, because there's a lot of news going on.
just stay
out there.
informed.
Just stay informed.
You don't
and
have to
fact
know
check.
everything, but you do need to know what the hell is going on. So you're like, oh, it's that. Oh, okay.
With that being said, we're gonna be posting. When are we posting this podcast?
I will definitely post this podcast. I don't know when we're gonna post.
Okay, sometime soon. So we are definitely finishing our 12 podcasts. As executive producer, I'm gonna make sure that we accomplish this goal. And with that being said, let us know what you liked about this podcast. Let us know what are your major concerns on the comments, and please subscribe to